All right, it is 3 o'clock. Let's go ahead and call this Churchill County Library Board of Trustees meeting into order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, let's start with a roll call. Oh, no, let's start with public comment. This is one of the opportunities that we have for public to make a public comment. Do we have anybody that would like to use the opportunity at this time? Hearing none, we can move on to the roll call of members. Maddie, do you want to start us off?
Maddie Serna.
Sari Kaler.
Dr. Sue Segura.
Jessica Rowe. All right, and we see that Trustee Swerzik is missing today, so we will just move on to the verification of the posting of the agenda.
Pam Moore, for the record, the agenda was posted on December 12th between the hours of 1 and 5 at the locations listed on the agenda in accordance with statutes.
Thanks, Pam. Okay, consideration and possible action regarding the approval of the agenda as submitted or revised. We had a few revisions. Those came through in a way that we could review. So does anybody want to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to approve the agendas.
Thank you, Sari. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, seconded by Sue. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. All right, consideration and possible action regarding the approval of minutes, of the meeting held on September 25th. Should we knock all of these out at the same time? We've got 3 of them. So September 25th, 2025, October 23rd, 2025, and November 20th, 2025. Do we have any discussion or questions on those minutes? All right. Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from September 25th, October 23rd, and November 20th.
Thank you, Sue. Do we have a second on that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Sari. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. All right, so now we have an opportunity for training, the agenda item training for the Library Board of Trustees from Tammy Westergaard. So Tammy, thank you so much for being here today.
All right, wonderful. Members of the board, for the record, my name is Tammy Westergaard. I am here as a professional courtesy to your new library director and my new colleague. And I also, I am the former state librarian and and deputy state librarian. And my role at that time was to help advance trustee training. And I actually am the person who modified it to an online format and created the resources that you'll be using. So I'm a good person to ask any questions about it too. And I want to congratulate all of you for taking this step and for being very clear about this as a priority for your board. The statutes are very clear about what your roles and responsibilities are. And I know John and I were talking a little bit, and Nevada has some of the most sophisticated library laws of any state in the country. And most importantly, it's because the Library Board of Trustees actually possesses and holds the real property of the public library, as well as evaluates the library director. So that makes you an active board. It's not advisory. This is a regulatory body with very serious responsibilities. So in order to help you do that and to stay in your lane, to do the things that you're supposed to do and understand that framework, that's what this trustee training is about. It's statutorily required to be advanced through the state library in order to be eligible for state funds that are either made accessible through state coffers or as a pass-through from the federal government. Library districts have to be in good standing, which means that the library trustees have to complete this training, and you also are required to have a current strategic plan on record with the state library. So that's important for you to understand. With that, as you can see in this nice at-a-glance piece that the director put together, you can see what your duties include. And as you work through these different modules, the things that are going to be talked about include, the roles and responsibilities. What does advocacy look like? Very specifically, what are the ethics and liability that come through the public library? Having a very clear understanding of what that is all about, and when you're clear about your ethical and your legal liabilities, making decisions becomes very clear. But all of those things, they're all intertwined. And the other thing I think it's important to recognize is that board members have a role within the library community. Every state has a library association, which is the professional home of trustees, of librarians, community members at large, where you can, get lots of information about current issues and things that are facing your library statewide. So all of these pieces are where you belong, and this is what you will take advantage of through this training process. And I suppose the last thing, two last pieces of unsolicited advice. One is that it would be wonderful if Ms. Baker joined in this training, because oftentimes you'll weigh in about what's sort of where the board is at any given moment, and so your really clear understanding of the laws is going to be super helpful. And then secondly is that as you go through this training, that you do this really intentionally and thoughtfully, that you folks are in a module 1 month at a time, and that there's Chair Rowe, you may consider having time set aside in the agenda for a meaningful discussion about the learning objective of each individual module, and to actually talk about it with your director in terms of how does that objective relate to actual things that are happening in the library from month to month. That will give a great opportunity to learn by doing. And Dr. Segura is the leading expert on your board about how to set up work-based learning, right? So essentially the work that's going on in the library, here's the learning objectives, within each of these different modules, and how do we as a board sort of act as interns, if you will, in this process with each one of these modules as as you chew through them all. So that was kind of a little bit of a preachy comment, but I'll leave it at that. And I don't know if anybody has any questions or concerns, but there's my two-bit opinion. And I'm certainly happy to be a resource if there are questions or anything like that. It's really great that that you're all ready to walk through all of that.
Tammy, what would this training look like, and would you do it monthly?
Yeah, there's training modules, so it's asynchronous training, and I know the director's going to talk with you about how you'll all be logged into it, and you see that QR code up there. That's how you get access into it. The training modules are asynchronous online learning, and it goes through a number of scenarios, and then there's some exercises that you can take part in, and then also there's a place for reflection. So that's where you're going to want to think about what's active in your library system right then and make notes, and then come to the meeting prepared and then have a group discussion about it. The time, each module wouldn't take more than an hour. It's not a huge lift, but it's important to be thoughtful.
Okay, so we would do the module before we come to the meeting?
Yeah.
And then you would discuss it with us as a panel, right? Is that what I'm understanding?
Yes, that's basically the format that I think would be most productive. So yeah, I'll share, you have access to the modules. I emailed the logins, and so we can go through the modules and discuss at the board meeting. There are, yeah, like she said, 11 modules that covers, advocacy, finance, policy making, and then each module has a quiz, and then your certificate of completion is when you pass all the quizzes. And so on the handout, it does have that QR code so that you can get to the training, and it's also in your email. But yeah, I just want to thank Tammy so much for working with me and providing this opportunity for the board to, yeah.
I was wondering, on the first module or whatever you sent to us, there says that there's a handbook, or, so do we print that out ourselves, and do we have to submit it to you guys? How do we go about working that?
Well, I'll just address that for a
Okay,
second. I'm
sure.
glad you mentioned the handbook because I think that Director Fong is intentional about putting together a handbook and giving it to each of you as a binder. I would recommend that that be something that you bring to every board meeting so that you have the whole thing. It's not to say that you couldn't go through the modules faster. That's completely fine. But to really take the next 11 meetings to really have that thoughtful discussion. And you'll find that you'll have other things that you're facing and you haven't gotten to, say, the module on advocacy yet. But having that right there, it's all printed out, it will just be a constant guide for you as you're, performing your duties as board members in public meetings.
John, is that something that you can prepare a binder for each of us, and we'll come by the library like the 10th of January and get it?
Yeah,
Because I don't think everybody has access to a printer like
yeah,
I do.
we'll have binders available for those who need it. It is on the module, so yeah, but yeah, I'll have binders available for those.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll come by the 10th of January?
Yeah, the 10th, yeah, we can have that ready by then.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I really appreciate that you brought this up, just for context for the public who weren't part of the conversations that we were having. This whole opportunity arose from when we were welcoming John Hong into our community, and Tammy was there to welcome him, and we got into a good conversation about updated training. All of us that are on the board received a binder from, most of us from Carol, right, who was the interim at the time, that contains many of these things: the bylaws, the roles of the board, the NRS statutes, the structure of the libraries and the public libraries in Nevada, and we all kind of were held to understanding our library's mission. But as we update our strategic plan, and as we stay really current and fresh with that, as we are coming in with a new director and having that opportunity, Tammy let us know that the state had also done some of these updates and had brought all of this online, that it's a module-based thing with the certificate behind it, and that this is something that we can all access. And it feels like a really nice, fulsome opportunity to learn with our director and update our own knowledge.
And I can tell you that when I questioned the budget, we hadn't looked at it before it was going to the departments. So truly, we don't understand what we're supposed to do. And I want to make sure I'm spot on.
Right, and as Dr. Segura is saying, we're all a very new board. So at this point, I am under 2 years on the board. These are 3-year terms. All of us on the board are a little bit younger than that. So this is just an excellent opportunity for us to do our due diligence at getting ourselves trained. Many of the elements that are in this training are available to the public as well. So the bylaws are up on the website, the mission, the strategic plan, all of these things are available so the public can hold us accountable as well. These sorts of pieces like the NRS are open to everybody. So it is a very empowering thing that the state of Nevada does because the Library Board of Trustees is a citizen board and a lay board. I have the anticipation that there are other members of my community that will want to come in and do this kind of service after me. So this is an opportunity for our community to listen to the conversations as well, and to listen to how advocacy is done. So I thought that this was, it is fulsome, it is deep, there's a lot of it, but the time is well spent. So I have really, really appreciated this opportunity. And then for me, I read online probably as fast as I read on paper form, but I take all of my notes on paper. As John was saying, because it is an online module, I will probably be holding my binder up online. But for anybody that prefers to do that by paper piece, just contact John, and he'll make those copies and have them available to us.
Any other questions, or that's it?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Tammy. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And thank you again, Tammy. I really do appreciate it. All right, so that brings us to our Library Board of Trustees report. Does anybody have anything that they would like to share from this month?
Actually, just one quick thing. I was out in the community and I was very impressed. I ran into one of the staff members of the library out there just doing, I forget the proper correct term, but contacting other people to promote our library and find other ways to do stuff. And we ran into each other, and of course we had a long conversation, and that was just so thrilling to see our library staff out in the public trying to promote our library and find better means and ways to make our library more profitable for everybody.
I appreciate that, Sari. Does anybody else have any comments that they want to share with this?
Yeah, I had a meeting with John, and when I got the agenda, I'm like, holy moly, he's on the ball. As a community member that's lived here 69 years, now I feel really old, I don't know much about technology. So I said, John, we got to have tech classes, and I really want to learn more about AI. So I'm going to be your first victim on both of those days. Thank you for adding those, John.
Thank you
In
very much.
January.
And yeah,
I noticed.
yeah, Tom is one of our digital librarians, so we're excited to do that. So thank you.
That'll be a great thing for our, could you let the senior citizens send them a flyer and let them know? The Senior Citizen Center?
Okay, yes, definitely.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything more that they wanted to share? I just wanted to share strong appreciation, kind of along the same lines as Sue. I've found that I have been able to have the opportunity to have some meetings with John, some conversations, and that I'm finding the responsiveness and the curiosity to be really refreshing. I really appreciate the fact that as we talk about things that we're interested in the board meetings, those things are moving through in the months and finding their way back into our agendas and back into our upcoming conversations. And this training comes from a conversation. The AI pieces come from an earlier conversation. Programming is being very intentionally formed. And that eye to sustainability and care for the staff is just really strong. I had the opportunity to talk to one of the staff members this week, and my son often will walk over to the library, and I will come to pick him up, and he and I were cross purposes, so I couldn't locate my smallest human. And as my calm moved further and further from calm, right, I started to elevate because I couldn't find him. In calling around, I called over to the desk and got Tom, and Tom reminded me of the privacy policy with the library and how that we protect our public by not identifying who is in there. Now, that being said, my kid was over there. You know, he did not identify that to me, but we get off of the phone call with a very pleasant conversation, and a few minutes later, from the library phone, there's my son calling me. So he just kind of called my kid over and said, "You need to call your mom," and he gets onto the phone. So it's like there are ways that we can still be a caring part of our community while protecting our community, and the relationship that we have with that library staff and with those librarians really kind of saved my day on a pretty tense afternoon. And all I have is appreciation for that. So appreciation for the protection and the protectiveness, and appreciation for the care that I received as a community member. So I wanted to make sure I was making that point. So thank you.
Thank you so much for the comments.
Jessica, can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Thank you so much for sharing that story. I love it. It warms my heart. But I also want to comment on John. I've been out of town, and so we couldn't have our regular meeting. And so I just emailed him all of my bazillion questions, because I have tons every time. And he was very, very efficient and emailed me back and told me what was going on with what I wasn't understanding. And I also want to thank Pam. Thank you so much for working me through the edits, especially when I don't understand something that I misread or something. So thank you so much for all of the time and effort that you give too.
I am grateful for the community that we have and for all of the care that we receive from the community. It's been warming this year, and as we come into the next one, it gives me a lot of hope. I think at this point, it's a good time for the library director's report. Take it away.
Thank you very much. There's a lot to go over, but I just want to address personnel, where we completed technical services library interviews this past Friday, and we have identified a candidate and extended an offer. So I'll keep you updated, more on details with that. And also, I will vote on this later, but just want to let you know about the request to close the library on Wednesday, December 24th, 2025, due to the historically low traffic, and revitalize a hardworking team. And so that can be voted on later. Moving to financial matters, just the 2026 state collection development funding of about $4,457 will go towards Hoopla, has been approved by the state library, so that will help tremendously. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And also, we got a grant for 14 new Penworthy Staying Sharp and Steam to Go kits. Staying Sharp helps seniors with memory loss, and it contains brain activities. And Steam to Go kits, we've never had them before, but they're for preschool age kids and help them develop their motor skills. So
And for senior citizens?
Those are for the Staying Sharp. They have senior citizens with just need to strengthen their memory. There's the kits contain brain activities and literature, but just things to get their brain activity moving and challenging them in that way.
I'd really like to see a workshop at our senior citizens luncheon for them.
Okay, sure, definitely, yes. Great suggestion. And then, just moving along with the competitive grant, just still going through the process. It's been adjusted where it'll be more towards a library revitalization project. So that's more towards mobile book carts, picture book shelving, which have shown to increase circulation, mobile whiteboards for study groups or story times, displays for exhibiting art. So there are some makerspace items, such as a chomp saw, which is a child-safe cutter for cardboard, and a laminator, but none of these are, doesn't require internet connection, so they're not SIPO related, but just wanted to let you know that's where the grant is going towards. And then just another thing with the Microsoft Office, we have the ability for only $40 a computer, so we have 9 PC units. We can provide like a lifetime license. Because currently the computers, they just have a free software called LibreOffice, and it's kind of our public are not very familiar with that. It has writing software, but I think for just $40, I think they would appreciate the full Microsoft suite, PowerPoint, Excel, and such. Any questions or? Okay. Well,
I just have
yeah,
one comment.
sure.
So this will be for just 9 computers, am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, 9 public computers.
Okay, that's good. And so kiddos can come in and work on a PowerPoint project?
Exactly.
Or type a
Yes.
paper? Awesome,
Where
love it.
before it didn't, our PCR was very limited with that, but yes, they can do those projects, exactly. And so, yeah, with training, we're excited to do the trustee training that Tammy Westergaard presented to us, so really thank you to her for working with the Churchill County Library and the board. And so, yeah, I'll provide more information about that, about the modules, about any worksheets that you need, and I'll be available in the weeks preceding if you have any question. But in terms of programming, we have a lot of things going on. Crafting for Grown-Ups received our highest attendance ever with 29 people. Holiday Steam, on December 5th, 48 people built graham cracker houses, and so there's a little typo there where it said, but maybe it's been fixed actually with the new one. But Magdalena and Jay helped plan that program, and so it was a great turnout. Custom Ornaments is this Saturday at December 20th at 2 p.m. And so people of all ages can create personalized ornaments for the holidays. And so people have been asking about that. And then, of course, we understand the importance of having technology programs in the library. So Tom Patterson and myself, we're excited to host the Applied AI on the third Tuesday, which falls on January 20th. It'll be an after-event program for 6:30 p.m. to allow adults to come in after work. We're looking to do this monthly. And the first program will be kind of an introduction to AI, but we have all sorts of ideas. Any participants have any future ideas, but people have used AI for graphic design, for helping with homework, and just understanding the utilization for travel planning, and just understand the utility of it, but just to understand how we have to be aware of certain situations where of an over-reliance on it as well. And so just to be responsible users and just know the pros and cons of AI, but there's a lot of utility with it, and just good to be for the community to be aware of its strengths and how to use it appropriately. And so, thank you for Tom Patterson for taking on that project. And then Drop-in Tech Help is something he'll also do 2 times a week, and it's a walk-in basis, and so he'll help them with their devices. The Applied AI is going back to online registration, but just to see how we can plan for the intended audience, but we will accept walk-ins as well. Any questions with that?
I have one.
Yes.
With the Applied AI, is it more informative, or will you teach how exactly to use it too?
The first one will be kind of a history of AI. Tom's leading it, but we're going to work into more current, like kind of the history of AI, into the more modern uses of ChatGPT and things like that. So there'll be a portion at the end for Q&A and some demonstration of it, but in the following AI programs will be a lot more hands-on, because I think that's the best way to learn, is to get some various AI programs for graphic design and just having people practice with that on their devices. I think will be the way moving forward. But just the first one will be more like informative. With outreach and partnerships, just want to say that was great going out to the tree lighting, and special thanks to Mayor Tedford for just welcoming me to Fallon, and just kind of, we had a great discussion on how to, just future, ideas for the library and the city. And so I just want to thank you for his warm embrace. So yeah, I think the library can work with, as a county entity with the city and for the community best interests. And finally, I didn't put this on here, but because I forgot, but tomorrow I'll be helping be a judge at a spelling bee at Noma Elementary. So yeah, that'll be very interesting. I'm excited to see who will move on to the next stage. But just general information that I just want to share is that we've been doing focus groups in the library. And what that means is that in order to achieve the strategic plan, there's some priorities there as a team that we need to be communicative and collaborative on. So the focus groups are programming, training and professional development, and finally outreach and partnerships. There are other focus groups that we have in mind, of like policies and procedures, but we just need to make sure that we're on the same page in terms of circulation operations. We have a standard for, just building our team with professional development webinars and the resources that they have available to them. With programming, it's very important that we collaborate and learn how we can, just share our ideas with others. So I'm really excited about some of the ideas that we have for January and February, because through these programming focus groups, some art workshops, and I don't want to spill the beans, but that's all I say. We have a lot going on through these collaborative small team work groups. However, I would like to, in the future, after we build a strong team within, offered opportunities for the library board to come in and observe and ask questions. And when we have some ideas in mind, like for our, programming focus group or great initiative dealing with some type of outreach, share it to the community at large, and have them discuss with us in the library some of our ideas, or do a kind of a survey of our ideas for these different focus groups. And so, we're going to be very transparent and work with the community, stakeholders, and our board. So I'll be sending those invitations out, and, you're welcome to join our various, focus groups or even meetings. But I just want to give a special thank you to the facilities department for making our library more secure. They made improvements were made to the building's physical security to limit access to non-public areas. And so, again, thank you, facilities department and Sean. And if there's any further questions, but that's my report.
Thank you.
I had one question.
Yes.
I just wasn't understanding the focus groups very well. Is that, so all of your lead librarians are in this group and working together, or is it like Magdalena in one group, Tom in one group, Jay in another? I'm wondering
Yes.
how it's working a little bit more.
So our full-time librarians and our part-time staff, we are all spread apart into different focus groups. Each staff person is on, for example, professional lead librarian, like Magdalena is on at least, 2 of the focus groups, because we have 3 operating right now, and we've all met at least 1 or 2 times. And so most staff are in 2 of the focus groups, because it would be hard for them with staffing and trying to meet, on all focus groups. And so with 2 focus groups that they're working with, most focus groups are comprised of 3 other individuals, and then I'm a part of all focus groups, so I'm the 4th person. And we meet once or twice a month, and we have our meeting notes, and we go over through it. And then we share all our meeting notes to the whole team, so that even if you weren't a part of a particular focus group, you can still read what we've talked about and suggest ideas. And so that's kind of how the focus group operates.
Thank you very much. That answers my question.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate what you put into the report. I appreciate several of the topics that you mentioned in there. I think that it is very encouraging that we have the focus group initiatives starting, because it allows you to let your team choose parts of the strategic plan and prize those and focus on those intentionally, while also making opportunities to talk to the community. It's going to give them some opportunities to reflect on how well those initiatives went. When we're talking about things like professional development, it allows some of the staff to talk about things that they might need rather than simply have a top-down approach, which we appreciate. And I am excited about the opportunity that you're mentioning, that when you have the groups fully founded and the rotation working well for you, so that it's not drawing from the staff, that you'll put out an invitation for us to join parts of these focus groups that we may be particularly passionate about. And that gives us a chance to get to know your staff better, your initiatives better, and to be involved. I was noticing in Tammy's training, or in the state training, that some of this kind of committee work and internal involvement is something that the board is invited to do, and that it helps their advocacy. So I thought that this was coming at a very, very good time. I appreciate that you had a chance to meet the mayor.
Yes, thank you so much. And, you know, as I have more staff meetings with my team, they welcome the board to also attend the staff meeting as well. So, yeah, just give me time to just make sure there's like, more team building in place, and we invite, the library board on specific meetings that we might, have you and be a part of.
I appreciate that. We'll rely on you to coordinate
Yes,
and
thank you.
invite, so that we are not intruding into places where we ought not be intruding, but also that we can connect and not disrupt. We don't come in mass and form an accidental quorum, things like that, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing this intentionally and well, and in a way that's supportive. So we appreciate your coordination there. Anything else on the report that anybody wants to prize? I felt like it was very thorough, very helpful, and I'm excited to see what you bring with some of those pieces. I'm grateful that we were able to achieve the funding from the state in that grant that will help us cushion Hoopla, which is such a popular program, but as we went through the summer tracking the expenses of that, having external funding sources really makes that possible for us to provide that. So I'm glad. That was encouraging. All right, so if there is no further discussion on that or questions, we can move on to item 11 on the agenda. That is to set the date and time of the regular library board meetings for 2026. Up on the screen, Pam has provided us with our traditional board meeting times throughout the rest of the year. Her suggestion is one of efficiency, that we look at these board meetings, we give ourselves a chance to approve them in a group, including our traditional shifting of the meetings in November and December to move around those holidays. If we get to a point where there's going to be some sort of a problem with that meeting, we can always deal with that in the individual meeting, but this gives us at least an ability to put a calendar in for our public and advertise in advance, I think. So we will, but this is our one zigzag away from the norm. The motion would, instead of being on an individual date, it would be to approve the dates as described.
I do have a question. In this sort of left-hand column, it says advisory board to manage wildlife meeting. Is that just a typo?
That's a typo.
Okay. I assumed so, but I wanted to check.
Kids at the library.
Good catch, Maddie. Are there any other questions or discussion on this that I'll give you a chance to review it, I think, because we received this just as the meeting kind of came through.
I can make all of these dates if I add them to my calendar now. That will be no problem for me.
Chair, I believe it's on the agenda, but it's not agendized for possible action.
Okay. It is on the agenda. Not having a previous agenda in front of me, I did not think about that. Do you want us to wait and try to approve this in the upcoming meeting, and then we'll put it in for discussion and possible action so that we're in full compliance?
Yes, please.
All right. Are we able to agree on the upcoming date of that meeting?
Yes, because we need to set the new meeting, and that's normally agendized. We can set the January meeting, but we can put it on the agenda to approve the remaining of the year.
That sounds perfect. It's better to be in compliance and make sure we've got all of our knots tied appropriately. So for this one, let's go ahead and just set that date of the first meeting in January. It looks like we have the 15th set. Is that correct, Pam? Or what I'm trying to read the, oh no, that's the posting date.
January
It's the
22nd.
22nd. I was reading the wrong way across my columns. So January 22nd at 3 o'clock. Is everybody good with that meeting? All right. So if we're good with that, I'd entertain a motion to set that meeting at that time.
I'll make a motion to set the meeting for next month for January 22nd, 2026 at 3 p.m.
Thank you, Sari. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that.
I appreciate it, Maddie. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. All right, so we'll meet back on the 22nd, and we'll see the yearly calendar up on our agenda at that time. All right, so for new business, consideration and possible action regarding the approval of the monthly budget reports for November 2025. Do we have any questions or discussion on those budget reports that we want to handle at this time? Hearing none, lots of crickets. I would entertain a motion to approve that budget.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the monthly budget reports for November 25th, or 2025.
Thank you, Sue. Do we have a second on that?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Sari. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Next item, similar, consideration and possible action regarding the approval of the library gift fund report for November 2025. Do we have any questions or discussion on that item? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to approve that gift fund report for November 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the library gift fund report for November 2025.
Thank you, Sari. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Sue. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. All right, so item C, discussion regarding the library becoming Children's Internet Protection Act, SIPA compliant. This is just that update that John had promised us from the last meeting.
Well, yeah, just talking with my team, talking to other directors and in the air co-op, and just we need more research. This is something that, as new director, I just want to just review policy, and although SIPA is related also to grants, why we that's shouldn't be the only reason. And so I just want to establish strong programming and then see how SIPA and grants will impact that and or help us. But I just think that right now there are other things that again, research is needed just to make a wise decision on implementing this policy, because we already have policy in place. And again, my kind of priorities is to establish strong programming and then, reevaluate SIPA in the future and the grants associated that might help us with our programming that we've spent time actually establishing. So that's where I'm at, but I welcome any questions.
So, was there consideration at the library for applying for a grant what are the timelines? What are the timelines?
Well,
for
Maddie,
SIPA?
just as a review of the context on that, Tom had come in after having had training to discuss with us a grant that he was looking at that had the opportunity to be SIPA compliant, and it had the deadline of needing to have that done by the end of January. As John has told us in his report, they are going for that grant, but the grant as written no longer requires them to be SIPA compliant in order to go after that grant. The way that they have written it has been moved towards a rejuvenation of the library for items that are going into the makerspace, things that are going to help the programming. And I think that, just context from the last meeting, part of the concern was coming in new like this, we want to be able to make these decisions very intentionally and not in a rushed fashion. SIPA is something that may interfere with the grant ecosystem in ways that we can't anticipate right now. And it behooves us well to make sure that we really understand that program. The safety side of it, we already have policy in place. If we need to strengthen that policy, we can go at it from that angle. And if we choose to become SIPA compliant in the future, we can go at that in the future as well. It does not have to be approached so rapidly. Because SIPA deals with things that may come very close to censorship and may come close to the limitation of information, as well as all of the rest of this, we want to make sure that we approach it from a policy standpoint rather than a reactive standpoint. That and learning a little bit about how SIPA uses the data might be appropriate as well.
Yeah.
But you go ahead, John. Is there anything that I might have missed from that?
No, it's just, my first board meeting, like a few days, it was just voting on this. I didn't think was appropriate. And so I just need more time to research this. But like Jessica mentioned, there's certain needs, immediate needs with our facility and shelving and even a whiteboard. We don't even have one. And so that's something where we can definitely use the funds towards. And meanwhile, establishing, programming so that if you ever wanted to look into, grants for Makerspace, we have programming in place that we can build upon instead of just getting technology that we don't even have an audience for at the moment or any direction. So I just need more time to, talk with my team and involve the community.
I think taking additional time to consider it is a great idea. I think that's completely appropriate. And I thank you, Jessica, for connecting the dots. I think the grant that's going through versus the grant, and how that was changed. That was what I wasn't quite remembering. So I appreciate that. And I think that your choices as far as this go are totally appropriate, and I appreciate you, taking the time to really think about it.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate that. I think that with this topic, just talking points for the community, if this is something that the community is passionate about, and I think that they are, I think we all care about our children being safe out on the web. We all care about our children also being informationally literate. We care about our programming. All of these pieces are part of our identity and part of our mission. But as we move forward being very mission-focused, we can come from a place of being proactive rather than reactive here. And that anything that is going to deal with changing the way our community is accessing our programming, we want to make sure that we're doing that with our community instead of to our community, right? And so being able to seek our grants from a programming standpoint to look at the resources and the programming and the outreach that best fits our mission and fits our community is always a better choice than to take a swing at a grant and just load up that cart without having that intention attached. I don't think that's what Tom was doing, but it does sound like that's what the realignment is doing, that after talking to everybody and bringing all of the stakeholders and staff in, they all got together and worked that draft into something that's going to be really intentional, and I think that that's the other positive piece of this. The community is always welcome to come in front of us in public comment, but Tom's open, John's open, the whole staff's open all the time for the community, and that is another avenue where the community can come and do this with us and tell us what they need. So I've really learned a lot through this process, and I appreciated it. Any other questions on that?
I just have one question, and I'm not being negative or whatever, but I'm just trying to understand. So you're still going for the grant, but you just have different means that you need, and the SIPA was only if, like, technology related.
Internet connectivity
Yeah,
with
okay.
the equipment. So yeah, bookshelves and just
Whiteboards.
whiteboards. They won't. There's no
Right.
issue with that with
Oh.
SIPA.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood it correctly. Thank you.
Yes. Great question.
Good. All right, so the last piece is the discussion and possible action regarding the approval of the closing of the library on Wednesday, December 24th, 2025, due to the Christmas holiday. We've already discussed this one, and we understand the reasons why. So we just need, do we have any other discussion that we want to make on it? Any other questions or concerns? Then let's go ahead and do a motion. And
I have a question. Is that
Oh.
a county holiday, Pam? So you guys have.
So it is not a county holiday. The holiday is only December 25th.
So what we'll be doing is using the employee vacation time or floating holiday towards that day.
Right.
We won't-
The
yeah.
reasoning and context of that John had given us is that it's been a really busy year with a lot of stress for those employees, and that this gives them a chance to relax a little bit, spend some time with the family. They've done a lot of overtime in the last 3 or 4 months. This is a way to help them be a little bit more fed as they go into the new year, and I think that that's appropriate.
I'd like to make a motion that we close the library December 24th. What about the 26th? No, I'm teasing.
I'll take that part of the emotion, Sue, without the sass.
I can't live without sass.
I know, none of us can. So there's a motion on the table. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Sari. So we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. All right, so that brings us to our next opportunity for public comment. Is there anybody that would like to make public comment at this time? Hearing none, I think we can move to adjourn. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.